All right, Andrea, you're good to go.
All right. Welcome everybody to the first meeting in 2022 of Authorized Practice. I will start off by introducing myself. I'm Andrea Capua. I'm the chair of the committee. I've got Bobby Bowers somewhere on my screen. Can you wave, Bobby? He is the vice chair. Also just want to point out staff that's here. So I'm having some challenges seeing everybody because we've got two screens. So I know Savannah Perry, can you wave, Savannah? And David Johnson, where's David? Okay. Is Lori Brooks on the meeting?
She is.
Hi, Lori. Is Tessa Hale here? David, is Tessa?
She was. There she is. I see her.
And Tessa, I haven't met her either, so I'm looking for and meeting her for the first time. Is there anybody else? What about Jeff Lundgren? Is he on the?
Yes, I am.
So. Oh, you are?
I am.
Hey, there you are.
All right, we don't get to see your face, Jeff, but these are staff and attorneys that work very closely with the committee. It's nice to be able to put names to faces, and we thank you for being here. And since this is the first meeting, I want to take a moment and have everybody go through, everybody who is on the committee, including advisory members, to introduce themselves. We usually like to take a little time in the beginning for introductions, just again, so we can put names to faces. And let's see, I'm going to go through my list here. Let's start with, I'm going to do this in alphabetical order because my committee list is in alphabetical order. So we'll start with Tom England. And if you can do me a favor, Tom, and everybody, start off by introducing yourselves. If any of you are new counselors or new to the committee, that's helpful information. And yeah, and let's just go through, and if you can just let us know also where you're from, that's always nice to know. So starting with Tom.
Sure. My name is Tom Anglam. I'm a chief assistant district attorney in the 2nd prosecutorial district out here east of Greenville in Little Washington. We cover 5 counties. I'm not new to the committee. I've been on it since my tenure on the council has began a couple years ago.
Okay, thanks. Clark, you're next. Is he here? No. All right. Judge Bell.
Hi, I'm Julie Bell. I am a district court judge in Wake County, and I've been on the Authorized Practice Committee since I've been on the council, which is a couple of years.
Harold Bowman.
Hey, my name's Lee Bachman. I go by Lee rather than Harold. I think everybody would. I represent Cumberland County, which is a 12th judicial district, and this is my 4th year on this committee.
So I should know better, Lee. I'm sorry.
That is fine. Don't worry.
You're definitely not Harry.
Yeah.
All right, Warren. I understand.
All right, Walter.
I'm Walter Brock. This is my 3rd term on the council, and I've been on this committee each term. And I'm from Raleigh and do a civil litigation practice.
Gordon. Gordon, I think you're on mute.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Gordon Brown. I'm from the great state of Orange and Chatham, and this starting my 6th year on the council, and it's my 6th year on Authorized Practice. So looking forward to working with all the new folks and continuing the relationship with all the colleagues that I've developed over the years, including Walter Brock.
Dion. Is she here?
Second. There we go. Sorry, I was having a mute problem. I'm Dion Fortner, and I'm from Johnston County. This is my third year, and my third year on the Authorized Practice Committee. And I look forward to meeting everyone who's new.
Okay. I think I skipped Judge Cleland. Is he here today? All right.
I haven't seen him.
All right. Ashley Campbell is on the committee as well. She is not here today. She let us know that she had a conflict. She may jump in later, but I just wanted to acknowledge that she's a new counselor and a new committee member, and I'm sure you'll see her around. All right.
She's actually on.
Oh, she is. Okay. Oh, hi. Hey, Ashley.
Sorry, there you have such a hard job.
Yeah, well, it's easier in person because I can see everybody at the same time. But now
Now
I'm just
counselor
looking
from
for
the 10th.
something that's about that size, you know. Okay. All right, Ashley, go ahead and introduce yourself then.
Sure, I am in Raleigh. I'm a new bar counselor from the 10th Judicial District. I sort of wear two hats professionally. I'm a law professor at Campbell Law School. I'm the director of the Community Law Clinic, which is one of our clinical programs here. And I'm also in private practice at Ragsdale Liggett, where I handle commercial and real estate litigation.
Thanks. Alan.
Hi, Alan LaCroix. Sorry, had to get unmuted. I'm in the 36th district, which is Burke, Caldwell, and Catawba counties. I practice in Morganton, North Carolina. Very general practice. It's good to see everybody. I'm in my third term, first year, third term.
Takia.
Everybody, I'm Takia. I am from the 7th district. I actually live in Hosky, that's northeastern North Carolina. I've been on this committee since I've been on the council, so this will be my 4th year.
Okay. Next, we have Roy McDonald. Is Roy here? Doesn't look like it. All right. Kimberly Moore.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Moore. I'm an assistant federal public defender for the Eastern District of North Carolina. I'm new to the committee. Our main office is in Wake County, but I cover the 44 easternmost counties in North Carolina. Again, I'm new and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Next is Michael Neese.
Good afternoon, everybody. Michael Neese. I work out of Gaston County, North Carolina. I primarily do criminal defense, and this is my 2nd year on the council and 2nd year in authorized practice.
Meredith Nicholson.
Hi there, my name is Meredith Nicholson. I practice law with my law partner in downtown Durham. And I am a brand new bar counselor. Today is my first day at the job. It's very exciting so far. And I practice primarily family law, but we also do adoption, surrogacy, and we serve the LGBTQ community. So we do a lot of interesting things about parentage that come through the door.
All right, Manisha. Is she here? Manisha Patel. It could be that some are coming in late. Rebecca Pomeroy. I'm sorry, I just.
You're okay.
Pronounced it wrong. Pomeroy. Did I say that right?
Yes, I'm Rebecca Pomeroy. I am from Lincoln, North Carolina. I've practiced law at the Jonas Law Firm all my years of practice here, so 25 years. I represent a split district, so Cleveland County and Lincoln County. We are district, I think now 39. I do estate planning, probate, and residential real estate. And this is my 2nd term, and I've been on this committee before.
Okay. Michael Ramos.
Good afternoon, Mike Ramos. I'm the bar counselor for District 15, which is Bladen, Brunswick, and Columbus counties. When the Weather Channel says the hurricane is going to hit somewhere between Myrtle Beach and Wilmington, that's me. And I've been on this committee for 5 years.
Warren Savage.
Thanks, Andrea. I'm Warren Savage. I am with Lawyers Mutual. I am a counselor here in Wake County and have been, just started my third term and have been on this committee at least 3 or 4 years.
Everett. Are you here, Everett? Doesn't sound like it. Okay, John Willardson. John's not on. And
No, John is.
oh, okay. Is he muted?
He's muted.
Okay.
Okay. How about that?
Okay.
John Willardson from 34th Judicial District. That's Wilkes, Ashe, Allegheny, and Yadkin counties. This is the third term in all of my service on this committee from the very beginning to now. So I guess this is 8th or 9th year. And I'm town attorney and have a general civil practice.
Thanks, John. Last, we have Eddie Winstead. Is Eddie on?
I don't believe so.
Doesn't, okay. All right, well, that's all I had on my list. And for those of you who.
You got Patty and.
Oh, Patty, I'm sorry. I've got advisory members too. All right, so Patty, I know you're on because I've seen your face.
Thank you. Yes, and it's nice to be seen. I serve as a public member of the council. I'm formerly of Wake County, but now live in Littleton, North Carolina, which is in Halifax County. And I believe this is my third year on this committee.
Thank you for serving. So next, we have another public member who is Joseph Johnson. Are you on? I know sometimes it takes a little bit if you're muted, but
I don't think he's going to be here for this meeting.
Okay. All right. So now we'll go to advisory members. I've got Anna Davis.
Andrea, Tom Langen is here.
Okay.
He raised his hand.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Johnson. I'm Tom Langen. I'm a district court judge. I'm new to the council, new to this committee. I've been on the bench since 2019. Prior to that, I was a prosecutor for almost 20 years, all of it in Surrey County and Stokes County. That's Pilot Mountain, King, Walnut Cove, Mount Airy, Elkin. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Before I go on to identifying advisory members, let me just ask if any council members have come in that have not already introduced themselves. All right.
Hey, Andrea, it's Bobby.
Hey,
Bobby.
folks,
I'm Bobby Bowers. I've been a counselor since 2015, and I've served on the Authorized Practice Committee during that entire time, and I've served as vice chair under Andrea. This is the second year in that capacity. I am from the 26th district, which is Mecklenburg County. I practice commercial litigation at Moore and Van Allen, and I look forward to working with you all again. Thanks, Andrea.
okay. Is there any other council member that came in late that hasn't introduced himself or herself? Not seeing anybody. All right, advisory members, I have Anna Davis. Anna, are you here?
I am. Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Davis. I recently joined the Hartzog Law Group in Raleigh, and by recent, I mean today. Today's my first day. I have been on this committee for 5 years as an advisory member.
Fred Evans. I'm assuming Fred's not here. Santana, I think we saw you earlier.
Good afternoon, Santana Miller. I'm from the 15th district and I am in private practice there. And I am new to the council and committee.
David Neal. What about Jason Ramey? You here, Jason?
I'm here. So my internet doesn't work that good here. Jason Ramey, District Attorney in Rockingham and Caswell Counties, Prosecutorial District 22. First time on the committee.
Thanks. Lynn, I can see you. You're right in front of me, so I know you're here.
Hi, I'm Lynn Weaver. I'm with the Consumer Protection Division in the Attorney General's office, and I'm an advisory member on the committee. And I've been on the committee probably at least about 6 or 7 years.
Okay. Elise Whitley.
Hi, I am new to the committee as an advisory member. I practice family law in Forsyth County and Winston-Salem, and I also teach advanced family law at Wake Forest School of Law.
And the last advisory member I have on my list is Goldston Womble. All right, not looking like Goldston is here. I think, David, did I miss anybody? Or Brian?
Not members of the committee.
Okay.
A number of the officers have joined in, and of course, Catherine was not introduced.
Okay, so Catherine, Jean, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Catherine Jean. I'm the counsel to the State Bar, which means I'm responsible for the Office of Counsel. That is the legal department of the State Bar, and the thing that we do that's the most time consuming and visible is the disciplinary process. But we do all the things that a legal department would do for an employer. It's nice to meet you all. Look forward to working with you. Thank you, Andrea.
Okay, and I see Darren and Todd and Marcy are, can you just go ahead and introduce yourselves quickly, just for the benefit of those who are new and don't already know who you are, if that's possible for them not to know, but just in case. Darren?
Darren Jordan, I'm president of the State Bar. I'm the one responsible for putting you on AP.
Okay, and Todd, I'm just going to go in order of who I see on my screen.
Good afternoon. I'm Todd Brown, the Vice President, and welcome and look forward to working with you all.
Marcy, you're next.
Yes, hi, I'm Marcy Armstrong. I'm the president-elect, and I'm looking forward to April and seeing all of you in person. And thank you for serving.
Yeah, so I think we've covered everybody, and I appreciate you taking the time to do that. I feel like it's really a challenge to do this by Zoom, because one of the benefits of being on State Bar Council or being even part of the process is just getting to know everybody, and it's just really much more of a challenge to try to, just to try to do it on Zoom. So moving on, I want to share with you the fact that I was the committee member or the committee chair last year, and I was going back through my notes, and what was interesting is I had the things that I said last year at this time were pretty much the same thing that I want to say now, and that is commenting on Zoom and hoping for April to be an in-person meeting, and just saying what I just said, and that is, we're mastering Zoom because we don't have a choice. But we all know that to do this in person is so much better. So I hope to be able to meet everybody that I don't know already in person in April. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. All right, moving now to business. I'm going to start off by reading our ethics statement, and then we'll take it from there. So a reminder to all counselors and committee members that it's your duty to avoid conflicts of interest and appearances of conflicts of interest in performing your duties as a member of the Authorized Practice Committee and North Carolina State Bar. So at this time, I would ask, is any member of the committee aware of any personal conflicts or appearances thereof with respect to matters before this committee? If so, please raise your hand and let us know. I'm not seeing anybody. That being the case, before we get started on the agenda, I do want to remind everyone that this is a public meeting, and we can see who's participating on Zoom, but afterwards this will be live streamed on our State Bar website and on YouTube, I believe. And so just keep in mind that this is public and it is going to be available to the public. So just, it's always good to remember that with your comments. All right, starting with the full committee discussion agenda. We've got Savannah Perry, who is going to give us a report on prepaid legal plans.
Thank you. So the State Bar did not receive any proposed amendments to existing prepaid legal services plans during the fourth quarter of 2021. We did receive 5 initial registration statements during that quarter. All 5 of those plans have now been registered. That's an update to the memo that's in your materials. Atrium Health and Novant Health were both registered since. And the State Bar has mailed and received all but 2, or has mailed out and received back from existing plans their annual registration statement form and their fee for the year. 2 plans did not return those documents and the fee. That is East Carolina University Student Legal Services Plan and Complete Legal Plan. One of the staff in the Office of Counsel spoke with a representative at East Carolina University Student Legal Services, and they indicated that their plan is no longer operating anymore, so they did not seek to renew their registration. So to make 2 action items for prepaid plans, one being to recommend or request the council to enter an order revoking the registration of that plan.
Andrea, this is Bobby.
Yeah.
I have a motion if there's no discussion.
And your motion is to accept the recommendation of Savannah Perry?
Yes,
Okay.
that we act in accordance with Savannah Perry's recommendation.
Seconded.
All right, who do I have who seconded?
Julie Bell seconded.
Okay, thank you. All right, all those in favor, I want to say, please say aye, but I think we've got a poll.
Yes, I just launched the poll for everybody's vote.
Poll. Okay, so it looks like it passes by 100%.
Yeah, that's unanimous.
Okay, I was worried that the poll wasn't going to show up, but it did. Okay, thanks, Brian. All right, motion passes. Moving on to the next part of the discussion agenda, we have case number 2, which is Jason Kane and Grace Hancock. And my understanding is their attorney, Gary Parsons, is here and he would like to speak to the committee.
Yes, thank you. I'll be quick. We've responded to the letter of notice. What I wanted to make clear to the committee is that Mr. Kane and Ms. Hancock had for years participated in FINRA arbitrations this way across the country, consistent with their understanding that because it was a FINRA arbitration operating under a private set of rules that were national in scope, and also because in many places you don't even have to be a lawyer to represent a party in a FINRA arbitration, that what they were doing was appropriate. We cited the committee a decision by Judge Britt in the Eastern District holding that it was not necessary to be a member of the North Carolina Bar in order to participate in a FINRA arbitration. All of that being said, we want to be clear that Mr. Kane and Ms. Hancock are not here trying to defy any part of North Carolina law or the North Carolina rules of professional conduct. If the committee decides that they must be a member of the North Carolina Bar in order to participate in FINRA arbitrations on behalf of residents of this state, they will make sure that beginning now and going forward, they associate a member of the North Carolina Bar with them in any case that they handle involving a North Carolina claimant. As we pointed out, all of the defense counsel they have faced in the one North Carolina case they had done before and the one that they are doing now are from other jurisdictions, most notably Florida and Michigan and Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, the most recent pre-hearing conference Mr. Kane was in involved defense counsel from two or three states other than North Carolina. So again, that's by way of not defiance, but simply saying they were proceeding in a way they thought was appropriate. They still believe it's appropriate, but if the committee decides it is not, their position is tell us what we can do, and that is what we will do. But they have no desire to create conflict or to be obstinate about it. What they have been doing, they honestly believed was correct. If it is not, they will adapt what they are doing to what is correct. And we thank you for the opportunity to address you. If there are questions, we'll certainly speak to those, but if not, sounds like you got a full agenda.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Parsons? All right, doesn't look like anybody has any questions. So the next question I would ask is if anyone has any questions of David Johnson. Doesn't look like it. So David Johnson has, on behalf of the State Bar Council, has recommended a letter of caution. At this time, I would entertain a motion regarding the recommendation of council.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a second. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, let's vote. All right. Okay, it looks like it passes by 20-1. Thank you. All right.
Andrea,
Yes.
Savannah reminded me that we needed to go back and pick up one of her items.
All right.
And Madam Chair,
yes.
I assume that you are done with us. So if so, I will depart.
We are. Thank you for coming and taking the time to speak to us. Appreciate it.
And thank you for the opportunity.
You.
Okay, Savannah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should have been more clear that we had two action items. The other is for complete legal plan. That's a plan that we just didn't hear anything from. They didn't respond, and we're still waiting to hear back from an email and a voicemail that we've left them. So my recommendation is to instruct the secretary to issue a notice to show cause why the plan's registration should not be revoked.
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, so we have a second. Let's vote on it. It looks like it passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, before we move on to the consent agenda, Savannah, I'm not done with you yet, okay? One thing I did skip over that I wanted Savannah to do is share with us a little information about a subcommittee that was formed last year and is still in process. And the reason why we're taking time to do this is because we do have new members on the committee, and I want them to know that there is a subcommittee. Periodically, we do have subcommittees appointed. Fortunately, this one is not a real challenging topic, but it does need to be dealt with. And I always felt like when I was, and when I am a member of committees, that I like to know what's going on behind the scenes. So Savannah, can you just explain briefly about this subcommittee and where they are in the process and what decisions they need to make?
So back in September or October of 2020, the Supreme Court of North Carolina accepted a whole slew of rule amendments to the rules concerning prepaid legal services plans. And that was one subcommittee out of the AP committee. But we had a few more questions that we still needed to wrestle with for prepaid legal services plans, even after those rule amendments were accepted. And those 4 questions were: should a lawyer be permitted to own a prepaid legal services plan? Should a prepaid legal services plan be permitted to also operate a lawyer referral service? What fees should the council set for initial and annual registrations of prepaid legal services plans? And the last question is, what timetable should the council set for the Office of Counsel to act upon applications for initial registration, amendments, and applications for annual renewals? So the last 2 items that we need to take care of are what fees should be set and what the timetable should be. And we need to set up another Zoom conference for that. You can view a YouTube video. Our first meeting for those questions was a Zoom meeting that we put on our State Bar YouTube page, but came out of that. We've not made any formal report to the Authorized Practice Committee about those questions, but it seemed like the committee at that time was, or the subcommittee at that time was going more towards a lawyer should not be permitted to operate a prepaid legal services plan.
Okay. So Savannah, do you expect that the recommendations will be made within the next, by the next meeting quarterly?
I think we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll look forward to hearing what those are.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So going back to the consent agenda, at this time, I'm going to ask if anybody on the committee would like to pull any of the items on the consent agenda, and that would be under sections A, B, and C. So we've got recommendations from staff on letters of caution, dismissals, and no action. This is an opportunity for anybody to pull any of those cases if you want discussion.
Andres, Walter, could we pull 11 and 12? Just quick questions.
Okay, so 11 would be Dale Brooks and 12 would be Melody Plunkett.
Right.
Okay, so pulled. All right, is there anybody else that would like to pull any of the cases on the consent agenda for discussion? All right, so we will pull those 2 cases, 11 and 12, Dale Brooks and Melody Plunkett. Before we go into discussion on them, I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion on with regards to recommending or accepting the recommendations of staff on the consent agenda.
So moved.
All right,
Second the motion.
we've got a motion and a second. Did I hear a second?
Yes, you heard.
Okay, John.
John.
All right, is there any discussion? There being no discussion, let's go ahead and vote on this. All right, the motion passes by, or unanimously. Just say that. Thank you. Now, going to the action items that were pulled, let's start with Dale Brooks. Walter?
Yeah, I had a question about what efforts there has been made to follow up on that. It would seem to me there's something more that can be done. Maybe we'll hit a dead end, but I just hate for us to be distracted by some nutty email responses. And David, have you got any ideas about maybe contacting the person that this purported paralegal was supposedly representing and find out who this person is? I just hate for somebody to be a smartass and put us off, which is really the bottom line.
I understand the sentiment. No, I haven't pursued that any further. My understanding from Bob was that there was a bit of acrimony, and I didn't want to get in the middle of that by inquiring of the supposed client and maybe triggering something that would be involved with the handling of the matter itself by Bob. The main reason I was recommending that we go ahead and just take no action on this is because I just didn't feel like it was worth spending any more resources to try to track down somebody who was in South Carolina and didn't seem to be a big nuisance for North Carolina.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's worth a little follow-up just now to contact that client, because perhaps if it hadn't been for Bob, this person would have continued on with their representation.
I'll be happy to do that. That's no problem. I just that was the reason why I chose not to.
David, do you need a specific direction from the committee to follow up?
I think just if you want me to follow up, move to continue, and I'll see what I can find out.
Okay.
I'll move to continue. It may end up being nothing and a waste of David's time, but he's got a good nature about it. He doesn't mind doing it.
I second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion on this? Then I think we're ready for a vote, Brian. It looks like the motion to continue passes by 22-1. All right, Walter, do you want to share your concerns about Melody Plunkett?
Yeah, that was another sort of it may end up going nowhere, but I really hate for us to let something go unless we really know there's nothing to it. And if I recall correctly, the complainant in that one indicated in her complaint that this particular person, Melody Plunkett, had contacted a number of Florida and North Carolina residents about representing them. And I didn't see that there had been an interview to determine if we know the names of any other North Carolina residents that she purported to try to represent. And if we haven't done that, wondered if that could be followed up on, and if it goes nowhere, then it goes nowhere. But if there are multiple other people she's purported to represent in North Carolina, it may be worth pursuing.
So are you thinking that you might want to do the same thing, just ask for move to continue as we did in the other case?
Yeah, yes. Unless David had reason to tell us that it's a total waste of time. I don't want to waste his time. Okay,
David, you want to comment on that?
I'm going to tell Walter it's a total waste of time.
I have a question.
He's just offended by the text.
I wasn't offended as much as I was like, do I really want to go deal with people who talk like this? I just didn't think there was anything, she's making this broad allegation, and it wasn't so much that she was representing people, just that she said she was giving advice is the way I took it. And, I just didn't think if it was a real problem, it was Florida's problem, not ours.
Tom, you had a question. You want?
I guess just generally speaking, is there a Melody Plunkett licensed in Florida? I mean, isn't that public information?
No, she's not.
So even if she were a lawyer, that would be Florida's problem, but she's not a lawyer, so that's nobody's problem.
I just don't know.
Unless she really starts acting like a lawyer.
I thought that the better course of action would be for Florida to handle it, since she's a Florida resident.
Thank you.
Is she on the radar in Florida, David?
I do not know. We can put her on the radar, or I can check on that.
Does anybody want to make a motion based on the comments and recommendations that have been made on this case?
I move for David to waste just a little bit more time on this.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Would anybody else like to comment on the pending motion?
Well, can I just say one thing? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
I mean, clearly that she was either disbarred or not licensed in Florida, and obviously we should tell the state bar what she's doing, act like a lawyer. I don't guess we've done that, but yeah, we can continue this and see what we can do with it. I'm happy with that.
David, if you were to contact the state bar, is that something that you need specifically in the motion, or is it enough that Walter has moved for you to spend more time on this for the continuance? Yeah,
it's enough for Walter to have waste more of my time.
Okay. So the motion on the floor is, if I have to put it in legal terms, it's a motion to continue, not a motion to waste more time. But anyway, we have a second. If there's anybody else that wants to comment on this, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll take a vote. I don't see anybody else raising their hand. So Brian, let's go ahead and put that to vote. All right, it looks like well, it's still coming in. Hang on. Looks like the motion passes 18-5. All right, thank you. So last on the agenda is a litigation update. Valerie Arroyo and Brett Allen Fox. And David, I'll let you give us the update.
It's difficult when you're trying to 2 and 3 screen and take notes and do other things to get back to the unmute button. we had an interesting hearing last week with Ms. Arroyo, but ultimately we prevailed and the court dismissed her counterclaim and granted our motion for preliminary injunction. We're still dickering with her a little bit on getting the order to the judge, written order to the judge, because she wants to object on everything. But hopefully that will be in place by mid next week. So that's where we stand there. We'll proceed to conduct whatever discovery we're going to need to conduct and move for summary judgment in as soon as we can. On that matter, Brett Allen Fox, we have filed for a default judgment of permanent injunction, and that will probably be entered in about 3 weeks.
Okay. So for the benefit of the committee, if you get an injunction such as one against Valerie Arroyo and she doesn't honor it, she violates it, what's the next step? I mean, well, go ahead.
The next step would be if she violates it and we can prove it, we'll move to hold her in contempt.
And contempt is, from a practical standpoint, what punishment would she get or consequence?
Well, max 30 days in jail for each count of contempt.
Have you ever seen that happen?
Once.
Okay.
About 10 or 12 years ago.
Okay, well, let's hope Ms. Arroyo understands the consequences. All right, any other report from you regarding litigation?
No, not at this time.
All right, so my understanding is that there are no motions necessary for that. That's all I had on the agenda. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, then let's go ahead and vote.
If you want, I think you could probably do this by a voice vote.
A voice vote. Okay. So I'm going to do something. So I'm just going to say, if anyone objects to adjourning the meeting, say nay. I don't hear anything, so I'm going to assume that the motion passes unanimously. But before we sign off, I want to thank everybody for serving on this committee. I'm looking forward to this year. I have a little bit of a reputation of being done quickly, but that's only because we haven't had anything too complicated so far. And I'm knocking on wood as I speak. But thank you again, and I'll truly look forward to seeing and meeting people in person in April.